And the goal here is to heal, aspire, and grow all day long, 365 days a year. And with us, we have Genevieve Queenum, a Maxwell Leadership Certified Coach. And Genevieve, please introduce yourself to the audience. She's a wonderful partner, and certainly you're going to learn a lot from her tonight from this perspective. Go ahead, Genevieve.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Genevieve Kenham. I'm one of the coach of the EVSpeak team, team coaching. I'm a Maxwell leadership coach and trainer and speaker and a Christian mental health coach. So I'm happy to be one of the panelists of tonight.
She sounds so modest, right? But this lady's a powerhouse, okay? But the modesty, we'll take it. But the real deal is she's a change maker, okay? She's a change maker.
Yeah.
Deirdre, Marjorie, Patricia, would you guys like to join us on the panel? We would like to make this a very, welcoming, comfortable conversation. You don't have to show your faces, but certainly you can join us here. Do you have that option to welcome Deirdre? And Deirdre, I know you're not shy at all, so you can just totally show your face and totally be a part of the conversation.
Welcome, Deirdre.
Hi, my mic was off. Start video. Okay.
Welcome. Look at that face. Yes, yes. And Marjorie, don't be shy. Patricia, don't be shy. But regardless of whether you decide to come on the panel, just know that we welcome your input and your questions. As I mentioned, this is the third installment of the Symphony of Personalities, and it coincides with our press for 2025, which is my word for the year, press. And the reason why is because Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 Paul says, this one thing I do, I press forward towards the goal. And that's what we're trying to do. We are pressing forward into his presence, God's presence. We started off with that because that is the most important part of the growth quadrant or framework that we have, to have a vital spiritual walk with God. And so we didn't ask him for anything. We just want more of him. We are hungering for him, thirsting for him. And whether you join us live or you listen to the replay, we want you to get infected with our passion. So the first quadrant is to press into vitality, spiritual vitality. And the second is our degree of mental transformation. And that's going to start officially on the 23rd. But today we're going to talk about how the symphony of communication, why it's important, how we can use it to maximize our relationship with God, our press into his presence, or press into a relationship with each other as entrepreneurs, you name it. We're going to really delve deep. And so I want to welcome you to this time. So Miss Genevieve, by the way, before I even pass it on to Genevieve, I want to remind us all, I want to ask you guys, what does a symphony, what does it represent to you as it pertains to communication? What do you think that means?
When I think of a symphony, I think of a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I think of harmony. Mm-hmm. I think of a coming together, symphony, one-minded, one accord.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I would think of when you think of symphony.
Absolutely. What do you think about Genevieve? You tell us, because you're the leader in this matter.
It's exactly what Deandra said. If we take a little bit, if I can call it scientific, it's not scientific, but like the expert definition of the symphony, it's an elaborate musical composition for a full orchestra. So that's mean that's a composition of all the type of musician and sound, coming in an harmonious arrangement. So this is the the definition of a symphony, and just as DeAndre said it, it's exactly uh,
It's
what is
harmony,
it's exactly harmony.
collaboration, it's unity, it's
Exactly.
coming together,
Harmony. Yep.
it's orchestration, it's each person being their own musical instrument. It's like each person is a musical instrument and we have to put it together and make it sing, huh?
Exactly. And that's will give the symphony, because the opposite of symphony is cacophony. And cacophony is
But what is that word? That sounds like a curse word. What is that?
Why your brain gotta think curse words right away? I don't understand that.
What did you say,
yeah,
Wendy?
yeah.
I said, your brain gotta think curse words right
That's
away?
how it sounds.
You know, but Wendy, you know this word, right? Cacophony. It's the opposite of symphony, because chaos came from this word.
Chaos came from this
Yes,
word.
chaos came from this word.
Okay, that word.
Cacophony is the opposite of symphony. Like in a symphony, all the sounds come in a very good harmony, while in a cacophony, everybody make their own sound, and you cannot receive something that your ear can accept. So
Massive confusion is basically. Let's welcome
exactly.
Trish Odasami. Welcome, Trish. You can join us. Andrea Geiger, thank you for coming. And you can join us on the panel. Let this just be a warm conversation. Join us on the panel by if you'd like to, of course. No pressure. Welcome, Trish.
Yeah, thank you. But I don't want to show my face.
Miata, I don't see you. She said me too, but I don't see her.
She's trying to get in, I think.
Oh, what's causing the problem?
I don't know.
Well, just click that link, you'll be all right. So, as I mentioned before, we are pressing into his presence, and let me just run over the 6 quadrants that make up the framework for a successful life. That's what I've learned. There are 6 areas. Number 1, our spiritual vitality. Number 2, our degree of mental transformation. Look at that, Trish. Why are you hiding that beautiful face? Like, what is that? Or a degree of mental transformation. 3rd, our physical health. If we're rich but we're in the hospital, it don't make no sense. Our 4th, our financial health. 80% of what we do requires money, so I'm all about the coins. Yes. Number 5, I don't know what number we're up to, maybe 5. Our purpose, or why we get up in the mornings. Why are we here? Is our assignment in alignment with God? Constant reason to explore. And lastly, our relational currency. If our relationships are in the pits, we all know how that goes, right? I literally fall off the cliff. Like I'm like a different person. I just don't know how to function. It's really bad. Actually, I'm trying to work on that, where simply because my relationship is not working out in some case, not to like fall apart. Like I'm totally on a journey with that. It's really a situation. So you see, I'm on the growth journey with you. So tonight, I want to welcome you all, and we are going to just start off with this story of someone who demonstrated what a press is, what it looks like to press. Genevieve, why don't you tell us about Zacchaeus?
Yeah, I think that the story of Jesus with this man Zacchaeus, who had the reputation to be a thief, right?
And he had a reputation of being a tax collector. Was he a thief? Was he had a reputation of being a thief?
Well, yeah, this is what actually the scripture said about the tax collector at this time. And Jesus, was in this crowd, and this man knew that Jesus was someone who was very special. And as everybody, maybe the Pharisees, like they used to say, they will never, have this attention to this man, but Jesus does. And when he come to have his dinner with this man, because of his compassion and his empathy, empathy, he actually changed the life of this man. He brings transformation in the life of this man and in the life of people around this man, because the scriptures say that when Zacchaeus was touched and transformed, he decided to reimburse the money to other people. So this is the power of empathy in our relationship, in the way we look at people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does anybody else know the story of Zacchaeus? No?
Sure, I know that we only have 5 women here.
Well, when I think of Zacchaeus, I think of the ultimate example of what a press is. Because it says he was short, which probably means he probably had insecurities. It probably means that, and he was known as being a thief, or, you know, a legalized thief, a tax collector. He probably, he had to press through a crowd, and he went up a sycamore, I don't know if it was a sycamore tree, but he went up a tree because he wanted to see Jesus. That's what a press looks like. And he was aware that he had limitations, but he didn't let it stop him. He was insistent on seeing Jesus. And that correlates so well with what we're doing in our 21-day fast, which ends in tomorrow, actually. Some of us fasted sweets. I'm doing the Daniel fast, which has been really difficult. No oxtails, no meat at all, no fish. I live for salmon. I mean, I know Jesus must be impressed with my press. I'm hoping he is. What did you fast, Deirdre?
Daniel.
You did the Daniel fast too. That's right.
Oh,
I did.
Daniel, she pressed in as well. She's been pressing with us. Fasting. Andrea, what did you fast, Andrea? Andrea, why are you hiding back there? I mean, really?
She said
what did you fast? She fasted sugar. A big deal for her.
Oh.
So, and Genevieve, what did you fast? Except for the cake night.
Except for the cake.
She was pressing into the cake.
Exactly. My fast was bad sort, and
she was fasting bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So that means when the fast is over, you're going to go back to the thoughts?
No, at all. I'm trying to develop good habits.
Well, see, so that's what we've been doing here in the beginning of the year to impress God with our press. I think Jesus was impressed with Zacchaeus, and that's why he said, "Come on down. I'm going to come to your house." Jesus invited himself over to Zacchaeus's house. That's
all the negative things about Zacchaeus that's what pushed him towards the press, the insecurities, not feeling a part of, even though he was doing his job, but to everybody, that's just like how we think of people that give tickets. We hate meter maids in Brooklyn. We don't like them, but that's their job, right? So it is those things that push Zacchaeus to find Jesus, because nobody else wanted him. And he know Jesus loved everybody. So you know what? Why not go to somebody who will accept me the way I am?
Well, I never looked at it that way before. That's quite an insight. But then we also know that there are times when we have the insecurities and we try to hide from Jesus too. So the question is, why did he decide to press in?
Sometimes we get tired. We can't. When you finally come to a place that you're so pressed that you finally push back and then press in God's presence. Like we live our lives and we do what we want until we finally figure it out. Like that light bulb goes on and says, I can't do this alone. I heard Jesus can heal. I heard Jesus can restore. I heard you. And then we finally get to that place where he was waiting all along, but we wanted to do, as the kids say, life was life in, and we decided, I don't want to do life like this anymore.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that. Any perspectives on this matter, Miss? By the way, I should say that Ms. Wendy Mikoku is a nurse practitioner and psychiatric. Come on, go ahead, Wendy. Why don't you introduce yourself, please? She's one of our coaches over our platform.
I'm Wendy, mom of boys.
Wendy, mom of boys. And are you hiding?
Mom of boys. Huh? What would you like me to?
I would like you to share what is it that you do for this platform, because it's a big deal.
Well, what I do, I'm currently a nurse, a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I work with clients of all, I guess, all ages. I can say that now, and with different diagnosis. It can range from a little bit of just a little bit of depression and anxiety to all the way to schizophrenia, or all the and anything in between. What I do enjoy working with people with trauma, and trying to incorporate God's love, as well as what God has provided us and resources in the world to use to help people be their best self. Basically, that's what I aspire to do. So I have my own private practice that I see clients. I also work with clients that I actually go into their homes to kind of see them and engage them, and treat them. What else is there to know about me?
That's so much right there. So I just to frame this for you. The eSpeaks platform, the cornerstone is to heal, aspire, and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I have an anxiety disorder that robbed me of my moments, hijacked. Personally, I think Satan had an agenda just to hijack my mental state. I believed for the longest time that I would be in a mental institution. Just to give you a little background on me. But God said no. He said this is not your portion. But then I started a business, and I got married and started a business and had children. All the things that I thought wasn't possible. And so I use my experience in running a business and children and all this stuff just to help other women to believe that if you're struggling in this area, it's possible to navigate and live beyond the splinter. So I wrote a book to that end to kind of chronicle my story. Genevieve, she introduced herself before. She can introduce herself again just to give people more understanding of what you do again, Genevieve.
Yes, I'm Maxwell leadership coach, trainer, and speaker, and a Christian mental health coach. So I have
mental health coach.
Yeah, I have a sales executive background of 20 years, and yeah, I like to call myself a growth catalyst.
Thank you for
Love that.
Yes, yes. And then when it gets too much for us now, and we can't help people, we're going to send them to Wendy. Because there's different degrees of, if we're going to heal, we have to know when it's beyond us as coaches, and we said it's someone who's more capable. So I wanted to repeat that only because I think it's important for people to understand that we're not just here chit-chatting. This is the real deal, trying to help you to heal, aspire, and grow. The next segment of our conversation is going to focus on the role of presence in communication. Pressing into God's presence is foundational for meaningful communication, and understanding the why behind empathic and compassionate interactions. You want to speak to that? Does anyone want to speak to that from a perspective? Well, Genevieve, why don't you speak with that? Because this is actually her baby.
Yeah, but I think that everybody here can
sure
explain, yes, and say what are their perspective about empathy in relationship, in communication as leaders, as Christian. Yeah. So I think that what I can say about it is it's crucial as a Christian. When the communication is one of the first skill that you can that will introduce you to someone else. So the more you know yourself, you know others, and know how to connect with people, then you can get what you want, or then you can get along with people. It's crucial because
Mhm.
when I see, for example, Jesus' journey with some people, you know, the Pharisee tended to correct before uh, before anything. Like for when you read the scriptures, the Pharisee was the righteous, and all other who didn't follow their rules was the bad people. While when Jesus come, he introduced a new way of communication, just like David introduced a new way to communicate with God through worship instead of sacrifices. Jesus introduced a new way to communicate with the poor and the nations through empathy. And his the story with Zacchaeus is exactly one of this kind of example. So it shows how empathy is important in our communication. It helps us, just like John Maxwell said, to connect before being able to correct.
Wow. Connect before you correct. That's really important to us as entrepreneurs. Some of us here are entrepreneurs. And in that role, we tend to do a lot of corrections.
Mm.
But it's so important. I mean, I try, I really do. But sometimes I'm telling you, I don't do that well. It's important to correct before we connect. Hello, Miss Miata. Welcome. Were you going to say something, Wendy?
Oh, well, I didn't realize I was on mute. And I know the one of the other stories that I think was very helpful to me of recent, and that framework or the idea of connecting before correcting was in the Bible, the woman, that the adulterous woman, when they wanted to throw the stone at her, and everybody was ready to go, and Jesus bent down and connected with her before he corrected anything. He almost wanted them to, that was so quick to say, don't do this, as opposed to, no, come here, let me lean in. I think one of the things that we talked about is pressing in. Like, pressing in is leaning in.
Yes.
And we can't lean in if we're not connected. It's just gonna end up just trying to give them what your point of view is, versus let me find out what happened.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So that's one story that convicted me recently with one of my relationships to go back and ask myself, am I connecting before I correct?
That is so true.
Yeah, I think what's cool too, with our relationship with the Lord is, and the Holy Spirit, working with the Holy Spirit is, we call it connecting, but God gives us discernment. And so we discern those things spiritually before we even go in. I work with visually impaired people, and sometimes I'm the first person on the front line to actually help them due to their vision loss. And so my approach is never me. I allow God to use me in the circumstance, but learning how to meet people where they are. So instead of correcting, I'm sent in as a help. And so the correction comes of trying to reteach how to do daily living skill things with vision loss. Right. And be empathetic and have compassion at the same time, but yet not feel sorry for them because there is help. And so, and I had to learn how not to take their problems with me when I left. And that's a burden within itself, because when you take on ministry and you take on the ministry of helping people, you take on Jesus' burden. When you do your work and your work applies to helping and giving, you take on the burden of Christ to save those which are lost, to save those which are broken. And you have to learn how to not take it home. You have to learn how to just say, okay, God, I did what I can do and leave the rest. Because I used to come home a mess.
Wow.
A whole mess when I felt like they didn't have enough help or people weren't there to help them and they didn't have food. I'm only there for one thing, but then trying to figure out how to get some food and all kinds of things, but learning how to let go and let God, where I end and he begins, but he just sent me there. So learning how to leave it where it is and still be okay that I did all I can do. Jesus, you take the will and do the rest.
Wow.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's
one of
powerful.
the things to think about. Did you have something? Go ahead, Trish.
No, I just said that's very powerful.
It is.
I don't know how you learned to just let go, because it's so difficult, especially when your emotions are tied to what you're doing. So yeah, well done. I don't know how you did that.
My experience with my walk with the Lord was kind of hard. It was like a crash course. Like when I gave my life to the Lord, it was drastic. It wasn't 10 years to stop this and 5 years to stop this. It was this fast track. And one thing the Holy Spirit taught me early in the walk was I have to check my emotions. And it's not that God doesn't care about your emotions. He does, but you can't let your emotions override his word and what he said. And so I had to, that renewing of the mind, that's part of it. That's when you press in, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want the situation to change? Because there was no textbook to help at that point. There was, people couldn't help me at that point. I needed more. And I had to know if God was really real. So I had to put God to the test.
Wow.
And trust him in the process and kind of just step out in faith. And believing that he was with me and that I could rely on him. And so it was kind of hard for me because I felt like I was kind of doing it by myself. I was with the Lord, but I mean, there was no lady forum around me. I had one person that I could talk to. And so my pastor used to always tell me, you don't have to fight all the time. But I did. And I still do. In the sense of, I know how to let go and let God, but when I say I have to fight, I have to let the enemy know who I am and whose I am, because I have to keep telling myself that, because life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
Come up, it's like, no, you've been here before, and we know the enemy can't create new things. He only can keep recycling old stuff to see where we are in our walk with the Lord.
It's recycling old stuff. But one of the things I think about too, when we talk about this idea of connection, is the fact that in our culture, we tend to feel like we just tell the truth. I was going to tell the truth. You may not like it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And sometimes, and I've experienced this, where someone just so busy wanting to tell me the truth that they don't show any grace. And there is no empathy, and there's no love, and it breaks you, really, because God wants us to be connected. He wants us to show empathy. He wants us to have connection and still tell the truth. But in our culture, communication is so hijacked that we think that as long as we tell the truth and get it off my chest, then I'm done. I've done what I'm supposed to do. No, what you've done is creating more relational carnage. So that's why it's so critical for us to press into communication with God and with each other by learning how to do so, having a heart to want to do so, and then learning the different personality types. Because if we know the personality types, we'll be able to discern how to communicate with the person. And that leads me into the third segment of our talk here. I'm going to share a slide right now that kind of gives us an overview of the personality types. Please bear with me as I share my screen. Can you see my screen? It's the disc Well, this is where Genevieve does a lot of the talking. Hi, Genevieve. There you go. She's a certified Maxwell disc coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love what DeAndre was sharing. Um, because she talks with her heart, and when she talks, you can. I was just thinking about the disc, and I was like, what kind of trait is the main trait of DeAndre personality? Because some other people could be in your place, and they will never react just like you do, because it's you. That's your personality, right? And one of the good things that I have learned with the disc is to break the judgmental perspective that we have on people you don't know. You said something very important. You said that disconnection, we call it in the spiritual term discernment. But we disc is the kind of tool that can help us in the discernment, because every one of us, God has created us with some trait that are our personality, and this personality is shaped afterward by many things in our life, like education, environment, experience, right? And also uh, DNA. So when you, let's say that I was working with you, Deandra, and you were so passionate about what you were doing, so so concerned by the situation of those people, I could maybe say that, this lady, she's doing too much, you know while you were living this with another dimension of compassion, because maybe you are someone who has maybe a high trait of I in your personality, because those person are very sensitive. They are spontaneous, friendly. They are people lover, right? While someone else will be more detached because they are not like people oriented. So this is what the disc has helped me see and understand in my relationship with people. So in this slide, you can see on the left, right? It's on my left. I don't know if you see it on your left or on your right on the screen, but you have this diagram that is the acronym of the disc. So this is the um, behavioral analysis method. Okay, so many companies work with the DISC, but the Maxwell Leadership DISC is the one that I'm certified in. And when you see DISC, is the acronym of the 4 type of personality trait. So you have the dominant, the influencing, the steady, and the compliant. So some of them, like the C and the D, are outgoing people and task oriented, right? While you have the I and the S, who are people oriented and reserved person. So in this small quadrant, we pick only four point to try to describe very briefly how we can identify this type of trait in the personality of people. Let's say that maybe someone who is very motivated by control, someone who is decisive and very direct, and sometimes you can even think that this person is rude because they are very direct and decisive people, and they are only motivated by results. While maybe some other people who are like small stars, they are persuasive, very spontaneous, friendly, spotlight, they are motivated by spotlight, right? They like to be with people, they like to be loved by people, right? So they are people oriented person. Or maybe someone who is a very a good team member, like very compliant and analytical person, planner, good. They are a good partner in a team, right? They like when everybody's happy, everybody's okay. They will be the kind of person that will talk and say, "Let's do it together." Okay, so while you can maybe have some other people who are like team oriented, but I think that we made Angela the S. The S should be actually at the place of the C.
You have me diagnosed basically as the S.
Yeah, the S, the team oriented person, motivated by loyalty and acceptance. Those are the person that you may sometimes think that they are insecure because they are always looking for acceptance. They are motivated by that because their biggest fear is insecurity. So
Fear is
they don't like,
insecurity.
exactly, they don't like change. While the C are the compliant. So I think that there's an error in the slide. So the C are the compliant people, analytical, planner. They like accuracy, motivated by excellence. Those are the people who will write, for example, the name in the closet of each place where you can find the pens and the t-shirts, right? You may say, oh, these people are crazy. No, this is how they function. They like to have a planner in the day, and they are happy at the end of the day when they are able to check all the day to-do list. These kind of people are generally the C person. So yes,
I have
when
a question. For
Mhm.
each person here, can you identify yourself in these quadrants?
Hmm?
Who are you, Deirdre? Who are you?
I'm DISC. I'm potpourri. I'm a little bit of all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I like her answer. Yeah.
He's a potpourri.
Yeah,
Is that
no,
what she
no.
said?
Yeah, no, because actually we are all blended of these four traits, but with different intensity. Like
Mhm.
even though you can find yourself in the D, the I, the S, and the C, uh, after the test, you may be a high I or a high S, right? Having
Okay, I
a
see.
different intensity for each trait.
I
Me,
believe in balance. Yes, I got it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so which one is your dominant trait, Deirdre? Do you know?
um, D dominant. It's only because it started my name. No.
Andrea says she can't talk, but she can chat. Just saying a shout out to the people online here. Nyata is here. Sorry.
Okay.
Patricia.
Yeah. So I've done this before. I've taken the not the test, the questionnaire, and I came out as a coach. I think I'm more of C.
You're team
Oh,
oriented and follow through, loyalty and acceptance.
Yeah, I think
no, no,
so.
no. Actually, there's an error, Angela, on the slide because uh exactly. So now we correct it. So the C,
Which one needs correction?
yeah, I think that J just does the correction.
Which one? Which one is the C?
Yeah, Trish was saying
Tricia
that
thinks that she's a C. Team oriented or follow through, loyalty and acceptance.
That's the S now. It's changed
S.
to S.
Yeah, I think that she's an S.
Okay. Compliant. Your husband would say you're compliant. Yes.
Oh no, I'm not compliant. I'm not. I try to be.
Okay. Are you analytical, planner? And
I'm
well,
a planner, but I'm not analytical. No, because I know people who are extremely analytical, and I'm nowhere near them.
All right. So which one of these would you say is really you?
I'm an S. I'm a team oriented. I don't know if you can see the new one, which is S.
Is the F. Actually, Angela, there was an error in the first slide. So Jay just put it in the good order now. So
okay.
Yeah. So I'm a team player, and I follow through on stuff. I'm very results oriented, and I'm loyal. I'm loyal to whoever, is my friend. I'm a very loyal friend. I'm a very loyal team member. If I can't work with the team, I'll let them know. And yeah, I don't know about acceptance, but maybe, yeah. I'm not one to rock the boat, except I don't believe in what I'm doing. Yeah.
You were good at reconciling people like in conflict.
Yeah.
Good listener, good listener. People like to come and talk to you because you're patient. Yeah. That's the S.
Yeah.
That's the S trait.
That's me. I did the test with Tony Robbins when I went on one of his courses, but it's been a long time now. Maybe I need to do, if you've got the questionnaire again, maybe it's something we can all do at some point.
Sure. Okay.
All right. That sounds like a good idea. Andrea has her hand up. Andrea, what's on your heart, dear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to say that I agree with Trish. Like I believe I'm an S. I'm team oriented. I follow through with things. Loyalty, I think that I am loyal, but I think sometimes it could be to my detriment. Too loyal.
Yeah.
So I think like sometimes you have to use discernment in these areas. I mean, it's good to be loyal to your friends and to your family, but you just have to make sure that you're not being so loyal to the point that it can be damaging to you. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
I think that you're right. Those are the
Patty says she feels comfortable. By the way, Patty is with us and she's deaf, so I have to read her comments. She's very loyal to, I don't know how I diagnose her, but she's very loyal to this group. And so we have to read her comments. I feel comfortable with change, she says, and she's just talking about her press that she's doing and that she's losing weight little by little because she started out the year with us, working on her family and focusing on her health. And she's also doing the fast and she's exercising. So it's helping her. It's what she's just trying to let us know how she's doing with her press. And she's here trying to communicate with us. So she's definitely pressing and she's that. So if we really want to press, this is what another picture of it looks like. Patty Oguniye. Thank you, Patty, for sharing that.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Somebody else wanted to say something. Oh, Andrea said, "Yay, Patty." Yes, Patty. Thank you for being here. Who else is needing to tell us? Wendy, what is your trait? How will you diagnose Wendy, Genevieve?
Wendy?
Yeah. Well, Wendy, how do you diagnose yourself?
What are we doing here? We're not diagnosing nobody here.
Exactly.
Okay. Where does she fall?
Genevieve is trying to guess where I fall. Go ahead, Genevieve.
No, I'll let you tell us. Where do you see yourself?
You know, it's funny because I've done so many, not so many. I've done a few personality tests. Not specifically this one. But one thing I do know that it's so funny. I'm currently doing a book. I don't know if anyone has heard of it. It's based on the Enneagram. So it's another personality test, and it just talks about how, you know, there is a dominant one that you have to find like the percentage where you score the most, and but you find yourself little bits of everything in that same Enneagram. And I'm just looking at this stuff. I think there's got to be more to look at besides the words. I definitely fall with the more dominant and the influencing. I do believe I'm more of an influencer. My personality traits can be, I have a strong personality. I am direct, but I can be spontaneous. I'm persuasive. I'm friendly. I don't think I naturally think about being a spotlight, but my presence is known when I'm in a group. So I think, I don't know if that's me trying to be spotlight or just that's just what comes out. But I do feel like I have a little bit of it, but if I had to take the test, my guess would be that I would score high on the D or the I. but I do think I have a lot of it. I think I'm more of I balance. I am task oriented. I like checklists. I do well with checklists. It makes me feel a little bit more under control, in control. But it definitely will be curious, to see where it is. But the other ones that I've taken kind of it's similar, but it's I've learned to embrace my personality and that it's needed. It's just we can build on making it more like a healthy Jesus personality, right? But I know I've said a lot, but anyway, does that answer your question, Angela?
What do you think, Genevieve? Where would you put her? What's her diagnosis?
Oh my goodness.
Well, I diagnosis, yes.
You're going to diagnose me tonight. Go ahead, Angela. Yeah. Diagnose me, Angela.
There's no diagnosis here. You're right. So I would say that actually, after the test, the blended of your personality generally have a name. Like for me, for example, I'm a blended of high C, I, and D. So this blend is called the Chancellor personality. For example, you can be an entertainer, a leader, so every blend has a name because, as we said, we are all a blend of the 4 traits, but with different intensity. So that, for example, in my personality type, I am a high C followed by I and D. All right. So I'm someone who like checklists. As you said, I feel like I need to feel like my day is in control and I can see everything before I made a decision. And but yes, I'm too very friendly. I don't specifically like the spotlight, but my very low trait is S. And what is interesting is that the D is the most rare personality type. You only have 3% in a population who will have a high D trait. Okay. And it's followed by the I, because it's not easy to be an I, right? To be an I, I, right? So those people are around 11% in a population, in any kind of population. And the S are the most, fancy, not current, but S personality can be generally 68% of a population. So like,
really?
For example, yeah. So you can just see the population here. We have more like people who see themselves in the S personality than another one. The C are around 17%.
Okay. So Miata, what do you think you are?
I'm high C, little
High C, you're compliant? Really?
Yeah. Girl, why are you like questioning? Why are you questioning
Angela? I'm like accountant by profession, so the C, I see myself a lot in C. I see myself in everything else. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very hard to be specific. I'm somebody who is direct. I'm yeah. Like Angela said, say it the way you want to say it. I'm direct. I'm that direct person. I'm friendly. I don't think I care about the spotlight. I can be spontaneous. Um, I can be lawyer, but I see a lot in the C because C comes with my career, my profession. So I see that.
So tell the people what your career is and what is it you do, so they can.
I'm a accounting profession. I'm a account manager at Covenant Presbyterian USA, one of the affiliate in Charlotte. I'm the accounting manager there. Yeah, and I have been in a field for the past 2 decades and a half. No, not 2 decades, almost 20. Yeah, almost 2 decades. Yeah.
So accuracy, yeah, I would say it's a big deal for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As an accountant, I athletic curves, planning, compliance, accuracy. Those are all things that come with the profession. So it's
well, so you became an accountant because of this trait of personality, or you think that you have them because you're an accountant? It's just like the story
no,
of the egg and the
I
chicken.
have them because I love what I do. It's a passion.
Exactly.
So a lot of people ask me, I I I love it. Like I look forward to analyzing things, looking at details. Like you say, you plan your day. I plan my day. I have when I walk to work, I make a task what I'm doing for the whole month. Like I have one task, I plan what I have to do. And of course, certain things will come up that not within the plan, but I have to plan my month, my day, my weeks, to meet
It's
deadlines.
amazing.
So
Andrea, did you have something else to say? I think see your hands raised again.
Yeah, I just had a question more. What Genevieve mentioned about in regards to the percentage of each of the personality traits. Do you think that when people identify themselves with that trait, that is we identify because we think that's the best thing to look at as being it, or is it like have you ever seen people identify it but they acted a different way? I guess that's what I wanted to ask.
yeah, exactly. It's a very good question because actually, when you describe the trait like this, people tend to choose to be in a, in a block, like yes, this is what I like, so I want to be in the C. But actually, only the assessment can give you the
truth.
precise, exactly personality. I have a friend of mine. She is a Maxwell disc coach also, and during one of our webinar, she was like, "I don't like what the person the tester said about me." I said, "But what you don't like? The name?" Yeah, she said that I'm a peacemaker. Okay, so is the test was accurate? Very accurate. When I was reading it, it was me. I said, okay, so why don't you like the name of your blend, like peacemaker? She said, no, I want to be an entertainer. I want to be, a leader. Actually, but when she was reading the text, the test, the assessment, it was her result. It was her. So this is why I was telling that the disc has really helped me to break my judgmental perspective on people, right? Because you see, for example, I know Miata for a while, just in our conversation, but when she said, I think that I'm a D, I was like in my mind, no, you're
No,
not a D.
not D, C.
C, a C. All right. So because sometimes you can see the description and see yourself maybe only in one trait, but like sometimes you can take, for example, here we only have 4 points. It's very, very small to describe. Okay, for example, the D are a kind of demanding person and competitive. Okay, so they are like people who are logical and very strong-willed, very independent. Okay, the D person are people who can come and say that let's go and I don't know, let's go to the restaurant. You said yes, and they will say, but I drive. They are very determined and decisive people, and the high D personality are those that you take the package just like this. You love them or you hate them. Okay. Why?
Elaborate on you said when I said I'm a C, you said Why you say
Because I see that you are a neat person, and I see also that you're a very diplomatic person. So the D are not at all diplomatic.
That's not true. I don't agree with that.
I'm not a D. I say
That she's a seed. She's a seed. She said she's a seed.
But she said,
yeah, a seed.
but she
Okay.
said a D is not diplomatic, right? Is that what you just
Yeah,
said?
yeah. The D are not diplomatic person by definition in the disc, because the D will a high D personality will not think about your emotion, exactly, your feeling. If they have something to say, they would just say it because they are not people oriented. Okay.
Oh no, I think
you got no.
High D, Deidre, high D, not just D, high D.
High D.
High
D.
He's being high D right now. Look at that. He's high D right now.
I'm not a D.
For one, right? Okay, so let me say this, right? I'm listening.
Yeah.
I believe in remaining teachable, right?
Sure.
But like I said, I'm a combination of all of them, right?
Right.
And what gets me with this thing is that if we put ourselves in a box,
right?
You box people in by this. You have to get a plane on how to meet people where they are, right? So you use this, but I feel like, and like sometimes we box God in. Well, he can do this, but he only can do this, and so it feels very boxy to me. That's why I said, because I can teach. I'm very patient. I teach blind people how to thread a needle. I'm very empathetic. I'm that person. I'm that loyal person. If somebody bothers you, I will help you fight them on the street, and I don't have to know you. I believe in righteousness. I believe in, so just playing the game, because that's, just going by the thing. I feel like it just kind of box you in as a person. And you say remain, you judge people by it just so you can get a better, but I think it's it's not enough to really know a person, because yes, I am very, I have a very strong personality, but yet I'm still compassionate and empathetic as well. And yes, I will hear you out in all these good things, right? If I'm operating in my flesh, I can be a whole different person. But when I'm operating on the auspice of a believer as a disciple, that personality thing doesn't even add up to what Christ would look like, because it doesn't look like me. I don't look like me. I don't behave as if I wanted to do something. So I have to check my that personality, that trait, whatever that is, that doesn't work in the kingdom.
Can I just chime in real quick?
Rather robust, worthy, and worthwhile conversation. It's 10 p.m. I think Genevieve's point is the fact that there are different gradients of these personality traits to avoid you feeling boxed in. So there's a high D, and usually there's a graph that shows you specifically where you fall, so that it's not so rigid that you are only a D or only a ID. You really are a blend. She did say that we're a blend of these different personalities. And the thing is for us to learn that we are not, there's no bad personality, because God created all of them. And it's for us to press in to learn who we are first, and then to be able to identify the personality over there, so we don't treat them with a lack of compassion, a lack of empathy, and unlike Jesus, because somebody else is running from Zacchaeus, meanwhile Jesus is like, I'm coming to your house. You see that? So that's why we're doing this press into his presence, into our degree of mental transformation, into our financial growth, our relational growth, our purpose. And as we continue to do that with intentionality, we will continue to grow. So I continue to invite you to stay in the press. Like I said, on the 23rd, we will start reading the book, Thinking for a Change, as we press into the degree of mental transformation. You may visit our website. I would highly encourage, if you want to take this Maxwell test, to go ahead to the website, sign up, and take the test. It will cost you, but it's worthwhile to have this information, because it's going to help you to navigate all the pools of ships that you have, the relationships. And some of them are not taking us anywhere, so we probably need to get off of that ship. But just to be able to identify these different pools. So thank you for tonight. I have to end the conversation. But I'm glad you guys all came and participated. It was wonderful and hopefully very informative. Thank you to our folks on the line. Let me see, who am I missing here? Marjorie, Patricia, Andrea, and Oh, there's another Patricia here, by the way, Patricia, just so you know. So thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.